You've probably heard about foreclosure sales and how you can get a great deal if you buy a property at a foreclosure sale, and now you're interested in looking into it. Well, I'm glad that you're listening to this video before buying a property at a foreclosure sale. A lot of times there's several different types of liens that can be foreclosed. A mortgage may be foreclosed, a homeowners association may be foreclosed. It may even be code violations that are foreclosed. Just because there's a foreclosure does not mean that the property has free and clear title. I will repeat that again. Just because there's a foreclosure sale does not mean that the property has free and clear title. And that's really important to know. It may be a second mortgage that foreclosed, and you may be buying the property subject to the first mortgage. Or what about association dues? Sometimes the homeowners association is going to foreclose, and it might only be $20,000, $30,000, and you might think that you're getting a great deal, and you come to find out that there's a $300,000 mortgage. This happens all the time. It's quite common, and you need to make sure that you understand exactly what type of title you're buying prior to bidding on the property. In order to do that, you need to make sure that you order a title search and a lien search prior to bidding on any property. It's imperative. And what's difficult about it is you can order that from any title company or anybody who performs title searches. But if you don't actually understand a title search, looking at one is going to be kind of like a foreign language. You need somebody who's going to spend the time and explain to you what it means, what liability you may have by buying this property. I said you have to do this before you bid on the property. Once you become the successful bidder on the property, you immediately pay the deposit. You usually have less than 24 hours to pay the rest of the amount owed on the property. If you don't pay it, you immediately lose your deposit. So we sometimes get people contact us after they've won a bid on a property and want us to look into it. It's nearly impossible to hire somebody to review the entire title and advise you in that sort of notice. So you need to make plans in advance. Now, one other thing you should know about foreclosure sales is they get moved a lot. They get changed, they get canceled. You may spend the time on performing your title search and lien search on the property for the property to get canceled the next day. But you need to understand that that's going to be doing business, and that's just the way it is when it comes to these foreclosure sales, and you need to be prepared for anything. A tax deed sale is when a property is foreclosed because the taxes have not been paid. If you don't pay your taxes prior to that time, they're considered late. If you ever pay your taxes off, or any time that you want to satisfy those taxes, you're going to have to pay that 3% or whatever the percentage is on the tax certificate, in addition to the unpaid taxes, in order to redeem your property. Let's say you haven't paid your property taxes for 3 years in a row. After the third year, after the tax certificates have been sold, they can essentially sell the property at a tax deed sale. Now, because it's a less formal procedure, it doesn't have the same protections as a foreclosure. It doesn't ensure that everybody receives notice of the action that needs to. Because of that, you don't have free and clear title right away. You own the property, not the same fee simple title as you would in a foreclosure sale. In order to get that fee simple title to sell the property, you need to do one of two things. You need to hold the property for 4 years in a row, and then at that time you'll now have fee simple title. Or you need to quiet title. It is a formal process to give everybody notice who had any interest in the title and allow them to make a claim on the property. And if they don't, then you now have free and clear title to sell the property. Another thing that you need to know is, with it being a less formal procedure, it doesn't ensure that there's not any prior liens on the property. There could still be a mortgage or, let's say, code violation liens on the property that you could have bought subject to. It's important that you do your due diligence before buying a property at a tax deed sale, so you don't end up with something, that has liens on it. And you also need to know that you can't just sell the property. If it's a piece of property that you intend to hold for 4 years, that's fine. But if you intend to sell the property right away, you need to make proper arrangements to ensure that you're able to do so. If you have any questions about a tax deed sale or a property that you bought at a tax deed sale, or you need a quiet title action, feel free to contact us on Bond Law. We would be happy to give you legal advice on this matter and to assist you.